You are never truly alone, though solitude surrounds you. His nearness does not arrive. It simply unveils itself when your noise grows quiet. The breath you call yours is the rhythm of His mercy. The path you walk is drawn by His unseen hand. Even when you feel lost, the loss itself is His way of guiding you home. Ibn Arabi reminds us that the divine is not found by moving closer, but by realizing He was already here, pulsing beneath every thought, waiting within every silence. When you finally stop searching for presence, you will feel it in everything, in the turning of the wind, in the space between your heartbeats. A love so near it needs no name, no distance, no direction. The air that fills your lungs is not yours. It is His breath moving through you, disguised as life. Every inhale is a reminder of His generosity. Every exhale, a quiet return to Him. The rhythm of breathing is the conversation that never ends, a wordless dialogue between the created and the Creator. The one who listens deeply enough begins to hear His mercy flowing within each breath, shaping silence into remembrance and remembrance into peace. The nearness of the divine is not measured by space, for He dwells closer than closeness. We think of Him as far because we have surrounded ourselves with the noise of wanting. But when the heart grows quiet, even for a moment, His presence rises like dawn, familiar, gentle, unannounced. It does not enter the room. It was already there, waiting to be noticed. Each breath carries the secret of unity. You are not the one breathing, you are being breathed. The same power that moves the stars moves through your chest with every rise and fall. This realization softens the illusion of self. What you call I becomes transparent, and through it, the light of the One begins to pass freely, without resistance. The mystic does not search for signs, he listens to air. For the wind that touches his face is the same breath that once said times be asterisk, and all became. The ordinary act of living is not ordinary at all. It is divine participation. To breathe is to witness creation, renewing itself endlessly, a heartbeat of existence pulsing with divine will. Even when you forget Him, He remains the one remembering you. The breath continues, unasked, unearned, a mercy too constant to notice. The lover of God does not need visions, he needs awareness. For awareness itself is the place where the divine whispers, I am with you, here, now, in this very breath. Those who chase after miracles overlook the greatest one, to be alive, to inhale without command, to feel the world enter and leave through you in perfect rhythm. This is the sign that the Creator has never left His creation. If He were absent, even for an instant, you would vanish into silence deeper than death. When the heart awakens to this truth, gratitude no longer depends on blessings. The breath itself becomes worship. The mystic bows with each inhale and rises with each exhale, not in ritual alone, but in recognition that nothing belongs to Him, and yet everything moves through Him. The nearness of Allah is not something to achieve, it is something to uncover. The veil is not His distance, but our distraction. Behind every act, behind every motion, the divine is quietly sustaining all. The breath reminds us, presence is not elsewhere, it is the core of all being, vibrating in eternal rhythm. You think you breathe to live, but you live so He may breathe through you. You are a flute played by the wind of the eternal. Sometimes the music is soft, sometimes fierce, but it is always sacred. The breath is not proof of life. It is the song of the divine, echoing within form. To remember Him is not to think of Him, but to feel His nearness through what sustains you. The breath is remembrance without effort, dhikr without sound. Every inhale draws you into His mercy. Every exhale releases you into His peace. Thus, the body becomes a prayer, and life itself a sanctuary. When the lover understands this, he stops searching for presence in distant places. He realizes he has never taken a single breath alone. Each inhale has been companionship, each exhale confession. The air around him is not air. It is love wearing the cloak of necessity. Those who fear being forgotten by God have not yet felt the breath that never abandons. His remembrance of you is the reason you continue. You are not the seeker, you are the sought. The one who sustains all things sustains you most intimately through what you mistake for something as simple as breathing. In every breath, creation renews its covenant with the Creator. The soul whispers, "You are my life," and the breath replies, "And you are my echo." There is no boundary between them, only the dance of giving and receiving, flowing endlessly in divine rhythm. The one who understands the sacredness of breath no longer complains of distance. He knows that absence is a trick of thought, for even when pain tightens the chest, it is still the beloved who breathes through the ache. Love hides within the very air that sustains longing. The breath is mercy clothed in invisibility. It touches everyone, believer and doubter alike, reminding them that divine nearness is not earned, it is bestowed. The sun does not ask permission to shine. Likewise, his presence does not wait for worthiness. It simply is, constant as breath itself. When you breathe consciously, you are tasting surrender. You give and receive without control, trusting the unseen rhythm that keeps you alive. This is how faith works, not through certainty, but through trust in what you cannot command. The mystic lives in this trust, as fish live in water. The divine does not move closer when you remember him, nor further when you forget. He is constant, like the center of a wheel, while the spokes spin around it. The breath reminds you that he is both the motion and the stillness, the inhaling and the exhaling, inseparable from all that exists. The secret of divine companionship lies not in words, but in awareness. You need not climb mountains or cross deserts to find him. He has never stepped away. Every breath you take is his way of saying, "I am here," even when you are not looking. And when you finally pause, not to search, but to listen, you will feel it. The air enters softly, and for a moment, you disappear. There is no you, no him, only the rhythm of being, endless, holy, and near. The breath is no longer a movement, it is revelation. So breathe, not as habit, but as remembrance. Let every inhale remind you of the giver, every exhale return what was borrowed. Between them lies the truth that Ibn Arabi spoke. You were never alone, for in every breath the eternal whispers through you. Wherever you are, I am with you. The infinite does not wait for eternity to reveal himself. He hides inside the smallest moment. A blink, a sigh, a shift of light across the floor. These are his signatures. We expect grandeur, but his presence prefers subtlety. The vast ocean hides in a single drop, and time itself bends when awareness awakens. The mystic learns that to miss the small is to lose sight of the infinite, for every fleeting instant is a window into forever. Each moment is not passing, it is unveiling. What you call now is not a point in time, but an opening through which the infinite breathes into form. When you stop measuring, you begin to feel it that the smallest gestures carry eternal weight. A falling leaf, a fading sound, even the pause before words all whisper the same truth. He is speaking softly, but never stops. The infinite and the moment are lovers who never part. The divine hides in the folds of the present, and whoever truly enters it meets him. You cannot approach him through time, for he is not found later or before only times within asterisk. The smallest moment, seen through awakened eyes, becomes a mirror reflecting the whole of creation. The seeker searches for signs in the heavens, unaware that the revelation is already inside each breath. The infinite is not something to find, it is what gives finding meaning. The heart that slows enough to see hears eternity pulsing through the ticking of a single second. That pulse is his touch, silent, endless, near. Every instant is a seed of infinity. You think you move from one to another, but in truth, they all unfold within the same divine gaze. The infinite does not arrive. He remains, wearing time like a robe, woven of light and illusion. To the mystic, every moment is sacred ground, for it holds the trace of the Eternal's hand. When awareness deepens, time loses its edges. The smallest second stretches until it feels endless. In that suspension, you realize eternity was never far. It was waiting behind perception. The infinite does not demand that you escape the world. He invites you to see him times through times it. Every instant becomes a doorway, not to beyond, but to within. The infinite is not measured by duration, but by depth. A single heartbeat can carry more truth than years of study. The mystic learns that what matters is not how long he lives, but how deeply he perceives. When perception widens, even the flicker of a candle becomes revelation, and in that flicker, the whole universe bows. When the infinite touches the moment, the ordinary becomes luminous. Dust motes turn into galaxies. Silence hums with meaning. Nothing changes, yet everything transforms. The same room, the same breath, the same life, but now illuminated from within. The beloved was always here. The seeing had simply been asleep. Every instant carries a hidden invitation to awaken. The infinite whispers through details. We overlook the crack in a wall, the curve of smoke, the sound of footsteps fading in a corridor. To one heart, these are fragments of life. To another, they are verses of revelation. It is not the world that changes, it is the I that remembers. When you realize that the infinite resides within the moment, patience becomes effortless. You no longer chase what will come later. You bow to what is now. Each experience becomes sacred, each delay divine. What you call waiting is not absence. It is preparation for awareness to ripen. The smallest moment is vast because it contains all others. Within one breath lies the story of creation, expansion, and return. Inhaling and exhaling, beginning and end. To live consciously is to walk within this rhythm, seeing every flicker of time as an echo of the eternal breathing you into being. To the unaware, the infinite feels distant. To the awakened, he is nearer than motion itself. The difference lies in attention, not distance. When the gaze turns inward, what once seemed finite begins to shimmer with depth. The infinite hides not from you, but within you, disguised as this very moment. The mind wants to grasp the infinite through reason, but love understands it through presence. Logic seeks boundaries, love dissolves them. When love deepens, the moment itself expands, and the heart begins to taste timelessness. Each instant becomes a sip from the ocean of the unseen, and every experience a wave returning home. In the smallest moment, the infinite teaches surrender. You cannot hold on to time. You can only let it pass through you. The mystic learns to trust this flow, for behind every change lies constancy. The river moves, but its source remains unmoved. The infinite flows through life without leaving his throne. Even pain holds traces of the infinite. A moment of sorrow, seen with understanding, becomes a teacher. It breaks the illusion of permanence and points you back to what never fades. The infinite uses the smallest ache to draw you toward eternal compassion. Nothing is wasted, not even tears. The infinite does not arrive with thunder. He moves in subtleties, a shift of light, a sudden peace, a breath that feels deeper than usual. These are his signs. When the heart is alert, even silence feels alive. The mystic listens not for words, but for awareness itself, speaking through quiet moments. To touch the infinite is to see meaning where none seem to exist. Every encounter becomes divine choreography. You meet who you were meant to meet, lose what you were meant to outgrow. Pause exactly when destiny needs you still. The infinite weaves perfection through the smallest imperfection. When awareness reaches this state, gratitude becomes effortless. You stop demanding miracles. for every second has become one. The smallest moment, the flicker of time you once ignored, now feels infinite, and eternity itself feels intimate. The infinite does not need to show himself. He reveals himself by times being times everything. The mystic learns to dwell inside the moment, not to escape it. For here in this pulse, this breath, this unseen rhythm, the infinite touches time and sanctifies it. The world, once fleeting, becomes endless. The moment, once ordinary, becomes holy. The infinite touches the smallest moment so that you may remember. He was never far, never later, never elsewhere. Eternity is not waiting. It is breathing through you now. The instant you see this, time dissolves, and the only thing that remains is his nearness, unending, unmeasured, unseen, yet utterly real. Every step you take is guided by a hand you cannot see. You may believe you chose the path, but choice itself is part of a design too vast for the mind to grasp. The invisible hand does not push or pull. It arranges. It places one stone in your way and another beneath your foot, ensuring each stumble teaches and each stride reveals. The journey is not random, it is precise, written by the one who knows the destination before the traveler begins. You walk, thinking you move forward, yet each motion is a return. The road is not ahead, but within you, and the one who shapes it walks beside you, silent and constant. Every delay hides wisdom, every turn carries instruction. When the heart matures, it stops asking, "Why this way?" and begins whispering, "Guide me through it." That whisper is answered before it is spoken, for the listener was already there. The invisible hand often leads through confusion. To the unseeing, it feels like being lost. To the awakened, it is divine choreography. The places you avoided were never meant for you, and the moments you dreaded were doors in disguise. Nothing misses its mark, not joy, not sorrow, not even the pause between them. When you resist the hand, the path grows heavy. When you surrender, it turns into light. The lover of God walks not by sight, but by trust. He does not demand to understand, for understanding belongs to the designer. What he calls coincidence, heaven calls precision. Even the dust on his feet is arranged by mercy. The hand shapes quietly through delay, through longing, through what leaves and what stays. When something is taken, it is not punishment, but redirection. The mystic learns to thank not only for arrival, but also for removal. For in both, the hand is present, sculpting the soul into a form worthy of what it seeks. Often, the hand works through contradiction. The path that feels wrong becomes the right one, and what seems like falling becomes ascent. The divine molds the heart. Through opposites, loss teaches fullness, silence reveals presence, and pain refines love. What you resist most is often what carries you nearest. The one who surrenders to this guidance no longer fears detours. He knows there are no wrong turns in a path carved by the eternal. Even the bends and shadows are written with intention. The hand never falters, though your eyes may. It draws you, sometimes softly, sometimes through storms, but always toward home. In the language of the unseen, movement is remembrance. The hand writes your life in steps, and each one echoes return. The mystic understands that destiny is not a script to be feared, but a melody to be heard. The notes may change, but the composer remains unchanged, infinite, compassionate, near. There is a secret in surrender. When you stop grasping for control, the path begins to carry you. You walk lighter, for you no longer drag your will behind you. The traveler disappears, and what remains is walking itself effortless, luminous. The hand guides, not from above, but from within, moving as your own intention purified of self. Sometimes, the hand teaches by withholding. What you begged for and did not receive was protection, not denial. The unseen knows what the seen cannot bear. In loss, the The hand shields you from what would have shattered you. In waiting, it trains your heart to see beyond the surface of time. The one guided by the hand learns to read silence. When no signs appear, the absence itself becomes a message. Not every guidance speaks in clarity. Some speak in patience. The divine sculpts strength through still endurance, molding you quietly while the world believes you are unmoving. The hand that shapes also holds. Even when you fall, you do not fall outside of it. Failure is not a break from the divine plan. It is part of its texture. To stumble is to feel the mercy that catches, the unseen embrace that says, continue. For every collapse conceals an invitation to rise nearer. When love deepens, the hand becomes invisible, not because it vanishes, but because it becomes everything. Every door you open, every breath you take, every encounter, all are movements of that same guidance. You realize there was never you and it. There was only the beloved, moving himself through 1,000 disguises. To see the hand is to live in gratitude. Even pain glows differently once you know it was shaped by mercy. The mystic bows not to what happens, but to who is behind it. What others call fate, he calls affection. What others fear as loss, he names as divine touch. There are moments when the hand rearranges your world suddenly. What seemed stable dissolves, what you clung to fades. Yet, underneath the shifting, a deeper stillness emerges, not the absence of movement, but perfect order, unfolding beyond comprehension. You begin to see that uncertainty is a veil of grace. The hand writes with both ink and erasure. What disappears from your life is as meaningful as what remains. To be guided is not to be given everything. It is to be freed from what you were never meant to keep. The mystic celebrates what leaves as much as what arrives, for both are strokes of the same mercy. The secret of the path is not discovering where it leads, but realizing who leads it. Every breath is a conversation between will and surrender, and the hand listens even when you cannot speak. When your heart aches, it is the touch of the sculptor refining his masterpiece, shaping you through softness and pressure alike. You realize that your story was never written by you. It was written times through times you. The steps you thought were yours were his footprints, wearing your form. You were the instrument, not the player, the road, not the traveler. To awaken is to see that the hand guiding you was your own essence, reflected from the divine. The mystic walks not with certainty, but with peace. He no longer asks for signs or control. Each step becomes surrender. Each pause becomes worship. For he has felt the invisible hand that shapes his steps and knows, wherever he turns, the path is already blessed, and the one who leads has never let go. Light and shadow are not opposites. They are two tones of the same divine expression. The one who creates brilliance also casts shade, so that perception may know depth. His presence does not vanish in darkness. It hides to teach vision. Just as ink reveals only when contrasted against paper, the soul recognizes the beloved most clearly in moments when his light seems concealed. What you call darkness is simply light wrapped in mystery. Every beam that falls upon the earth carries his signature. The glow upon water, the shimmer of dawn, the gentle fading of dusk, all are verses written in radiance. Yet even when the sun withdraws, he remains, unseen yet pervasive. The believer who sees only brightness misses half the truth. It is in the shifting between glow and shade that his artistry unfolds. When pain covers joy like a shadow upon the heart, the divine has not left. He has changed the hue of his nearness. The same sun that burns also warms. The same test that wounds also heals. Light teaches revelation. Shadow teaches surrender. Together they sculpt the heart into awareness, shaping devotion from experience. The mystic learns to walk without preference for brightness. For wherever he steps under sunlight or moonlight, he knows he treads within the same presence. To call one good and the other bad is to divide what God has made whole. Every hue of life is a brushstroke from the same unseen painter. Light moves, but not by itself. It is the command, be, still echoing through matter. Shadow, too, moves not in defiance, but in obedience. The two dance across the face of creation, telling a single story, that all existence is but one illumination refracted through countless veils. The wise do not chase either. They stand in awe between them. When the heart matures, it stops begging for constant light. It begins to see that divine nearness glows, even in obscurity. The unseen does not depart, it only changes form. His mercy descends as easily through shadow as through radiance. To the awakened soul, even the night sky is filled with invisible dawns. Every shadow is born of light. Without it, shade could not exist. So when life darkens, remember, there is light behind it powerful enough to cast it forth. The mystic smiles amid trials, for he feels the warmth of the sun even when clouds cover its face. Absence is only the illusion that love has paused. Light reveals, shadow refines. The brightness awakens gratitude, but the dimness teaches depth. The soul must walk through both, for knowing only one leaves perception incomplete. In shadow, love deepens because it is no longer dependent on sight. Faith becomes the lamp that glows without fuel. His presence does not choose one side of creation over the other. It moves through contrast, laughter, and tears, loss and gain, clarity and confusion. Each shift is his breath shaping the tapestry of time. The wise do not resist the rhythm. They listen to it until it becomes prayer. Even darkness bows before him. It does not oppose, it serves. The night was created so the stars could be seen. Suffering exists so mercy may shine. What we call trial is the turning of divine attention inward, drawing the heart closer to the source it forgot. When you look deeply, even your shadow belongs to him. It follows wherever you walk, silently reminding you that you are never alone. The same light that shapes your form also gives birth to your darkness. The two are companions, mirrors of divine unity within multiplicity. Light speaks of his majesty. Shadow whispers of his intimacy. The radiance dazzles the eyes, but the darkness teaches listening. The mystic learns that seeing is not always sight. Sometimes it is the loss of sight that reveals what cannot be seen, the quiet presence that was always near. In creation, nothing stands apart from him. Light and shadow pass through the same air, shaped by the same breath. Every fluctuation, every contrast, is the movement of his will. Even when events appear chaotic, they are notes within a melody only the soul can hear. The seeker who understands this stops dividing experience. Joy and grief lose their conflict. What once seemed dual becomes harmony. He begins to see divine balance everywhere. The sun's warmth balancing its own fire, sorrow cradling serenity. All opposites are signs of his completeness. There are times when his light blinds so completely that you see only whiteness, no forms, no distinctions. In such brilliance, identity dissolves, and there are times when his nearness cloaks itself so fully that you doubt its existence. Both states are invitations, one to surrender sight, the other to awaken faith. The divine presence moves through both realms as easily as breath moves through silence. It does not vanish when unseen. It transforms into subtlety. The one who perceives through the heart can feel his motion in everything, in the slow passing of clouds, in the flicker of a candle, in the quiet hum of being itself. Light and shadow are not enemies, but reflections of awareness. They teach the soul that perception changes, but presence does not. The lamp may flicker, yet the flame remains constant. The mystic walks with calm through brightness and gloom alike, knowing both are woven from the same eternal thread. In every reflection, the divine looks back at himself. The world is his mirror, and the alternation of light and shade is his way of showing infinite faces. Each glimmer, each dimness, reveals another facet of perfection. The play of contrast is the proof of his boundless creativity. The one who surrenders to this truth finds peace in every condition. No day feels brighter than another, for all carry the same light beneath their surfaces. No night feels endless, for the stars themselves are whispers of his proximity. The heart that knows this never loses sight of him again. His presence continues moving through every beam and every shadow, through loss and joy, through you and all you see. He was never the light alone, nor the shade alone, but the unseen rhythm that flows through both. The wise do not chase the glow or fear the dark. They rest in the one who moves through both as the pulse of all existence. Between one thought and the next, there lies a silence more ancient than time. It is not emptiness, but a sanctuary where the soul meets its origin. The mind rushes from memory to desire, weaving illusion after illusion. Yet in the brief gap between them, truth stands unveiled. The mystic does not chase thoughts. He watches them pass like clouds, waiting for the still sky beneath. In that unmeasured pause, awareness touches eternity and remembers what it has always been. The space between thoughts is the hidden doorway of presence. Every idea rises and falls like a wave, but between them lies the sea itself, unbroken, untouched, endless. This is the realm where the heart begins to listen rather than think. It is where knowledge dissolves and knowing begins. The seeker discovers that silence is not the absence of thought. It is the presence of God before words. When the mind grows quiet enough to glimpse the gap, a vastness opens, not outside, but within. It feels like falling into nothing, yet that nothing is the fullness of everything. There, the soul breathes without effort, seeing without eyes. The divine does not shout in this space. He whispers through being. Only the ear of surrender can hear it. The thoughts that fill the mind are like ripples upon still water. They distort reflection, but they do not alter its depth. When attention sinks beneath their surface, it discovers the clear mirror of divine awareness. Every thought is a visitor, but the host remains unchanged, infinite, radiant, silent. To know him is to recognize the still host behind the movement. In this secret space, no prayer is spoken, yet all prayers are answered. It is the language of presence, beyond asking and beyond words. The mystic does not enter it by will, but by grace. When the burden of thinking finally becomes too heavy to carry, then thought itself bows down, and the mind becomes transparent enough for the light to pass through. The space between thoughts cannot be created. It can only be noticed. It was always there, hidden beneath noise and distraction. Like the pause in music that gives melody its beauty, this gap gives life its rhythm. It is the divine resting between his own breaths, reminding creation that existence itself is woven of silence and sound. Every revelation begins there, not in the words of prophets, but in the pause before they speak. The universe itself was born from that silence. When the command times be, times arose from still awareness. To enter that gap is to return to the origin of creation, to witness the eternal before form, to taste being before the idea of self. When you become aware of the space between thoughts, time loosens its hold. The past and future lose meaning, for the now becomes infinite. You realize that awareness has no beginning or end. It simply observes the play of form within itself. The mystic rests in this observation until observer and observed dissolve into one. The mind fears this space, for it cannot control it. There are no labels there, no stories to cling to. Yet what seems like loss to the intellect is liberation to the soul. When the inner voice grows quiet, another presence begins to speak, not through sound, but through knowing. It is not new information, it is remembrance. The secret between thoughts is not reached by effort, but by surrender. Trying to grasp it is like trying to catch air. It reveals itself only when the grasping stops. The one who learns to dwell there walks through the world with a soft gaze, for he sees that every movement arises from this invisible stillness. Every sound carries an echo of that silence. In that hidden space, fear cannot exist. Fear needs form and future, but awareness knows neither. It rests in what is vast, unshaken, whole. The mystic who abides there no longer argues with fate. He moves gently, trusting the invisible balance that sustains all things. This is not detachment, it is intimacy beyond thought. Thoughts are waves, the space between them is the ocean. To live only in thought is to mistake the foam for the sea. The mystic dives beneath, not to escape, but to belong. Down there, identity dissolves like salt, and only essence remains the awareness that watches both thought and its absence with equal tenderness. In the gap, even longing fades. The heart stops asking to be filled, for it realizes it was never empty. The divine presence, once sought in distant heavens, is felt as the pulse within the void. The lover understands then, God was not waiting in another world. He was the silence beneath every idea of him. Each pause between thoughts is a mirror for revelation. The ego cannot survive reflection. It requires motion to exist, but in the still space, it fades, leaving behind only the fragrance of being. That fragrance is remembrance, not of who you are, but of who is. When the mind becomes servant rather than master, the gap widens. Life slows enough for awareness to breathe through it. In that breath, you find yourself guided not by planning, but by unfolding. Action arises naturally, like waves from the sea, effortless and harmonious. The divine does not command, he flows. This space holds all opposites, fullness and emptiness, motion and rest, birth and return. It is the point where duality dissolves, where light and shadow merge into one awareness. To taste it once is to know that nothing was ever divided, that everything has always been contained in the same silence that birthed it. The secret is not to escape thought, but to see through it. When you recognize that every thought arises from awareness and returns to it, the gap becomes your home. You stop chasing enlightenment and begin living from it. Each moment turns into a reminder. The silence was never broken, only overlooked. Even while thinking, the gap remains. It does not vanish. It is simply unseen. The mystic learns to dwell in it, even as life unfolds, speaking while rooted in silence, acting while anchored in presence. The world continues its motion, but within him, the infinite rests undisturbed. When the space between thoughts opens wide enough, the veil lifts. You see that thought itself was God playing with form, awareness expressing itself as creation. The silence was not apart from him, at times was times him, listening to himself through you. Every pause becomes a prayer answered before it is spoken. And so, the mystic smiles, for he has found the secret not in mountains or stars, but in the quiet between two thoughts. There, where nothing can be named or owned, the heart touches the uncreated, the silence that holds every word, the awareness that watches every mind. It whispers the eternal truth, asterisk, wherever you are, I am with you. When the heart becomes the place he looks through, the world transforms from sight into vision. No longer do you see, with eyes alone, the gaze begins to carry mercy. Every face reflects a hidden light. Every sorrow hums with quiet meaning. The lover realizes that the true sanctuary is not in stone or scripture, but within the chest where God chose to dwell. The heart becomes his window upon creation, and every glance becomes remembrance. The heart that he looks through must be emptied of ownership. It cannot serve two masters. Desire and divinity cannot share the same seat. When the self loosens its grip, the heart opens like dawn. Its walls, once built from fear, turn transparent. Then the divine does not enter. He is revealed, for he had never left. The transformation begins not in perfection, but in surrender. The heart need not be flawless to reflect him. It need only be honest. A cracked mirror still shows the light, and often it is through those cracks that the brightest rays appear. The mystic learns that brokenness is not the opposite of holiness, it is its doorway. When the heart becomes his lens, love becomes the only sight. The judgments that once clouded vision fade, replaced by compassion that sees beyond appearance. You begin to perceive not what people are, but what sustains them. Hatred dissolves because the heart, now belonging to him, cannot hold what he does not. The heart that hosts the divine no longer asks for proof. It has become the proof itself, living, breathing evidence of his nearness. The pulse that beats is no longer felt as mine, but as his rhythm through me. Such a person walks gently through the world, for he carries the weight of infinity within the softness of flesh. When God looks through the heart, everything is illuminated from the inside. The sun outside may rise and fall, but the light within no longer dims. Joy and grief both become vessels of revelation. The lover stops resisting life's contrasts, for he sees the divine tracing his own reflection through both laughter and loss. In that gaze, even flaws become sacred. The divine does not turn away from imperfection. He uses it to display mercy. Every wound becomes a window, every scar a story of love made visible. The mystic no longer hides his pain. He offers it, knowing it is the ink with which God writes compassion. The heart that sees for him becomes a mirror to the unseen. Wherever it turns, it perceives the hidden order beneath the chaos. What others call coincidence, it recognizes as orchestration. The mystic smiles where others despair, for he sees the invisible pattern, the hand behind all movements, painting harmony through time. When the heart becomes the divine's instrument, its desires change shape. It no longer yearns to possess, only to reflect. What it once demanded, it now offers. What it once feared to lose, it now sees as borrowed beauty, returning to its source. The heart that belongs to God cannot be emptied, for he fills it endlessly with himself. The presence of such a heart sanctifies whatever it touches. Even silence becomes luminous, and ordinary moments turn fragrant with meaning. The mystic's words heal, not because of eloquence, but because truth speaks through them. When the heart becomes his eye, the tongue becomes his echo. This is not a miracle granted to a few, it is the destiny of every soul. The heart was created as the meeting place between the seen and the unseen. When love purifies it, the veil thins. You begin to feel what cannot be said, the divine gazing through your gaze, tasting the world through your tenderness. The heart becomes a lamp, lit not by effort but by awareness. Its glow does not come from the world, but reveals the world as light. The one who lives from this heart does not divide sacred from mundane. All becomes holy, for all is seen through him. The divine perception sanctifies everything it beholds. Such a heart does not cling to outcomes. It sees beyond them, into the hidden mercy shaping all events. Even disappointment glows with unseen guidance. The mystic's peace does not depend on clarity, for he knows the one who looks through him sees what he cannot. Trust becomes his second breath. When the divine gaze moves through the heart, it softens the eyes. Harshness becomes impossible, because judgment burns in the fire of awareness. What remains is gentle, seeing perception free from pride. To look from that place is to forgive before offense, to bless before asking, to love before knowing. Every heart has the potential for such vision, but it must be cleared of noise. Anger, greed, and fear are the dust that blur the mirror. The mystic polishes it not with effort, but with remembrance. Each breath of times, Dhikr times, wipes away a layer of forgetfulness, until the heart shines again as it was created to, as a reflection of the divine eye. When the heart becomes his mirror, It no longer reflects only outward. It begins to see itself as he sees it, flawless, in essence, though veiled in form. Shame melts into gratitude, and the soul finally forgives itself for being human. It understands that weakness is not failure, but an invitation for mercy to enter. To be seen through by him is to lose the illusion of separation. You no longer feel watched from above, you feel lived from within. The eyes that see are his, the heart that beats is his. The mystic disappears not into absence, but into clarity, realizing that what he called I was always a window, not a wall. This vision transforms life into prayer. Every act becomes devotion, every glance becomes service. The mystic no longer retreats to find God, he finds him in everything. The heart that sees through him cannot divide creation, it beholds the one watching himself unfold. There is no seer and no seen, only the seeing itself, radiant, unending, indivisible. The heart has fulfilled its purpose, to be the place where God looks through and recognizes his own beauty reflected. Love becomes the lens, awareness the light, and the soul the mirror where the infinite meets himself. You were found before you began to search. The longing you call yours was placed within you by the one who sought you first. Every tear, every ache, every restless question was not the beginning of the journey, but its echo. The beloved hid himself in the chambers of your heart, waiting for you to realize that your desire for him was his own desire to be known. You never wandered alone. Your steps were the footprints of his mercy tracing their way back home. The seeker believes he travels toward God, unaware that God travels within him. The road he walks unfolds from the inside out. Each discovery feels new, yet it is remembrance, not exploration. The heart that thought it was chasing the divine awakens to find it was being carried all along, not by effort, but by grace. Your searching was never a sign of distance, but of closeness misunderstood. The thirst proves the presence of water, and the ache of love proves the nearness of its source. Ibn Arabi whispered that the seeker and the sought are two faces of the same mirror, and when the mirror clears, the reflection disappears. Only the one remains, looking through both. Every prayer you whispered in despair was already answered before your lips moved, for he placed the prayer inside you so that you could hear what he was already saying. What feels like calling out is really the divine calling to himself through you. The voice, the listener, the answer, all are one song returning to its composer. The illusion of searching is mercy in disguise. If you had known you were found, you might have never looked within. The journey was the veil that prepared you to see. The beloved conceals himself just long enough for love to ripen, then reveals that every moment of separation was an embrace misunderstood. When you thought you were farthest from him, you were held closest. The darkness that frightened you was not absence. It was his shadow covering you from what your eyes were not yet ready to bear. The seeker cries, "Where are you?" And the beloved answers softly, in the cry itself. Every call is already communion. You were found not in the moment you believed, but in the moment you were created. The breath that gave you life carried his remembrance. Even before you knew his name, he was your pulse. You learned to speak so that he could hear himself say, "I am near." The first word you ever spoke was his answer waiting for your question. The heart's restlessness is the most faithful guide. It will not let you settle for illusions because it recognizes its home by scent alone. Each disappointment, each ending, each yearning unfulfilled is a thread leading you back to the source that never left. The search continues only until realization dawns that the seeker was never separate. What you called coincidence was choreography. Every turn, every meeting, every delay was precisely timed by the one writing your story. Destiny is not something that happens to you, it is something happening times through times you. When you awaken to this, you stop resisting and begin to participate in the divine unfolding. You were found in your weakness as much as in your devotion. The Beloved does not require perfection to recognize you. He loved you before you learned to love Him, and even your mistakes are folded into His wisdom. What you regret becomes the soil where humility blooms, and humility is the fragrance He breathes. The seeker's greatest discovery is that the path was never outside. You searched mountains and oceans, unaware that the treasure was buried beneath your very heartbeat. Each step you took outward was mirrored by a descent inward. And when you finally arrive, you realize you never moved, only awakened. The truth of being found is not learned, it is remembered. Knowledge points toward it, but remembrance reveals it. The mystic does not acquire God, he recalls Him. Recognition unfolds, like dawn, slow, inevitable, and filled with light that was always present, waiting for eyes to open. The divine sought you through every circumstance you resisted. Through loss, He emptied your hands so they could receive. Through delay, He taught you the patience of eternity. Through failure, He unveiled that success was never the goal. Each breaking was a meeting in disguise, every fall an ascent unseen. When you realize you were found first, gratitude replaces striving. You stop bargaining with destiny and begin to adore its author. Worship becomes effortless, for love no longer reaches upward, it expands outward. The seeker vanishes into what he sought, and the journey becomes a circle that was complete before it began. In the vastness of divine knowing, you are not a stranger but a reflection. The eyes through which you seek are His eyes gazing upon Himself. The secret of oneness is not learned in books but revealed in being. You discover that to love God is to love the awareness that He planted within you to remember Him. When you let go of the idea of finding, you begin to see. The search ends not in discovery but in disappearance. The one who searched dissolves, and what remains is the presence that was breathing through the effort all along. The traveler fades, but the path continues, for it was never traveled by two. To be found is to know that you were never hidden. Every veil was woven of your own perception. When understanding dawns, the veil does not tear, it becomes transparent. You look around and see no difference between sacred and mundane, heaven and earth, seeking and being sought. All are faces of the same gaze. You were found before language divided you from truth. Words built walls around the ineffable, but silence remembers. In that silence, the soul hears its own origin, a whisper saying, "I have always been here," breathing through your becoming. It is not revelation, it is reunion. The final realization is gentle. There is no triumph, no fireworks of enlightenment, only the soft relief of coming home to what has always been. The seeker lays down his tools, the questions fade, and the heart rests in the quiet, knowing that nothing was ever missing. To be found is to wake from the dream of distance, and in that awakening, all seeking turns to gratitude. The eyes that once searched the horizon now look inward and see the infinite smiling through them. The Beloved had never been lost. He was the one guiding the search, carrying the seeker, and waiting at the destination. You were not the one who found Him. He was the one who, from the beginning, had already found you. There is nowhere to travel, and no distance to cross. The search collapses into realization. He was with you before you could name Him, within you before you could know yourself. Every breath, every heartbeat, every pause was a verse of His closeness recited in silence. The eyes that once sought signs now see everything as sign. The wind, the quiet, the waiting, the light upon the floor. Nothing is outside His nearness. For even your forgetfulness happens within His remembrance. The mystic does not say, "I found Him," but whispers, "I awakened where He already was." So wherever you stand, let your heart rest, for the divine has never moved away. You were seen, carried, and loved, long before you learned to call His name.